Welcome to this week's CP Short. This one is something that we wanted to get into a little bit on diets, but before we get into that, we've had some very exciting things happening. We are partnering up with Paragon Fitness and Nutrition out of Madison. The Pauls, they will have their episode coming out with us in a little while here, but these guys are fantastic. It was a great episode, and the reasons for them starting the nutrition company is great. They're true. It's not just about putting something out there to make money, and the amount of science and research that goes in behind their products is second to none. I can't believe that too many people would go way overboard. I feel like these guys did, but that's all about quality and effectiveness. We'll get into more of their stuff on different things about what they do and what works best, but they're well worth checking out. We will have a link to them and their stuff in the notes of this CP short, and also on our website at clinicallypressed.com. Click on that link. It is affiliate. It helps them out, obviously. It helps us out. And with that, if you check out, you use the code CP15, so that's CP15, you'll get the 15% discount going along with that. Highly worth checking out in terms of pre-workout, night gains for helping sleeping, the protein, and then also their flame off if it's something that you've ever dealt with just chronic inflammation and general joint pain. With that, we get into the CP short, which is the war on fat, carbs, and pretty much any diet or anything that you ever would want to eat. It sounds very satirical, very satire-like. Sorry, my English is not perfect, and it's meant to be. There's so many things out there. It was, fat was terrible. It was the worst thing for you. I highly recommend, if that's something that interests you, listening to Malcolm Gladwell's revisionist history about how McDonald's broke his heart. It is very entertaining, but also gives you a really good backstory on the war on fat. And so there's that. Now fat's back in coconut oil and avocados, and then all of a sudden coconut oil is terrible for you. Carbs were always the way you wanted to go, and then carbs were the enemy, and you're not supposed to have it. And then that jumped way into the paleo movement, where carbs were not great. And even with that, we've seen it kind of come back around, and that it's hard to function at a super high level, especially athletic-wise, without carbs in your diet. It's just hard, especially if it's very anaerobic, CrossFit, football, basketball, things like that, where you need to run off those stores. Endurance running, we could have a different conversation where you might really get some help by switching over into something that's running on a high-fat diet and using the fat utilization. It's outside the scope of this talk. With that, there's so many diet options out there, keto, paleo, if it fits your macros. There was one, raw, it was recently Alive and Well I just listened to, which was an interesting look at it. There was the Atkins diet, there's low carb, there's low fat, there's just a myriad of them. There's the metabolism diet, there's the zone diet, there's eat right for your blood type. What do you do with it all? And that's really what we wanted to kind of come back around to this, because it can be so hard with all the different studies coming out, which unless you're reading them extremely careful, it can be hard to take the whole take-home message out of it, just because things are so controlled and to the point that it can be really hard to get. And unless you're well-versed in reading the studies, you may take a wrong assumption that looks like it's what you're supposed to take, but when you really dive into a little bit more, it wasn't exactly what they were trying to get out of it, or then doesn't exactly apply to your way of life. Also with that, the social posts that are out there, it's all about shock value, I think, and we don't mean for this to be that way, but we want to put it to where people can actually apply it to their lives. So with that, we wanted to just talk about some general recommendations in terms of what you might want to look at to be doing for your diet, and then just kind of looking at specifically how you can apply those things to your life and not have to necessarily go super far in one direction all the time. The first one is trying to find out your resting energy expenditure. Number one way to do this is find a local university or lab or something that has a metabolic cart that can get it measured for you. The accuracy of that is just second to none. It's your number. It's what you burn at rest, and that number gives you such a baseline of what you would need to just operate without actually going through your day. And then there's some very easy recommendations about how much you should increase that for an active person. We would say with a lot of our athletes to maintain, usually you double your REE. For everybody that's just active but not competing, in collegiate athletics or high school athletics or whatnot, you probably won't double it, but it gives you a good idea of where you should sit at with your calorie consumption to make up for your energy expenditure going out. We also very much believe that it's simple changes that make the biggest effects for the longest time. You hear about it all the time, these crash diets. You lose a bunch of weight. A lot of times that's just inflammation after you clean some things up. And then it goes back the other way on you because you're not able to maintain that. It's too much of a change. Willpower is not as strong as we all hope it would be. So find one thing to change. Maybe it's switching off of pop or soda and switching over to unsweetened tea or to LaCroix or mineral water or whatever it may be. But make that one change. Let that become part of your day and then look for that next one. Maybe you snacked late. Well, maybe you don't have to change up your snacking in terms of the timing, but change up what you're putting in. So maybe instead of something that is more carby, maybe it can be some nuts or something like that where you'll still get some crunch, you can still get a little salt, but it's not going to have the same effect on you as potentially eating like crackers or something like that before you go to bed. The more you can shop fresh and shop around the outsides of your grocery store, the better off you're typically going to be. That was one thing I liked about the raw concept of the diet, the recently alive and well. The closer you can get to it from it coming from the ground or from if you're a meat eater from when that meat was cut, the better off it's going to be for you. And that's going to just help you in the longer run. So the more you can do that and stay away from things that are processed and boxed and looking at ingredients lists and having as few as possible with names you can pronounce, those are going to be the best things for you. The last one kind of that we had on this is, getting active. One of my favorite little quotes is, how do you get six-pack abs? Well, try 6 sets of not eating so much crap. Exercise is a great thing. It does so many benefits for you, and it can help in weight management. It really, truly can, but a lot of it comes back down to your diet. So when it comes to getting active, you don't have to take up 5 days a week of an hour where you're just crushing yourself. Getting active in some capacity is going to make a difference for you. That doesn't have, like I said, it doesn't have to be insane amounts of it in order for it to help. If you're getting your diet and what you're putting into your body on point and on cue, it really can make a huge difference just with the diet, but we would recommend getting active for all the other benefits. Now, just like most things, our little shameless plug, we don't promote a specific diet. We really don't. We think that you got to find what works for you. If you want to try fat adaptation and going more to that range, if you feel good on it, you're getting the results, you're not feeling hungry, perfect. Go for it. If it's something else, if it's paleo, you really like the concept of that and taking out a lot of the breads and the starches, awesome. Go for it. Whatever you can maintain is going to be the best diet for you, making sure that you're trying to get a complement of all your vitamins and minerals in that. We do have Weight Loss 101, which we'll also put a link into the description of this. That is run by Dr. Andrew Jacob. It is not a exact how-to on what to eat and to limit this, limit that. It follows and if it fits your macros scheme, but it breaks down how it all works. So it gives you a really good idea of what that is and how to go about it when it comes to losing weight. And we think it's just a very beneficial crash course over the course of several hours to pick up those ideas and make sure that you're handling things and understanding them, and it's not just following a blind recommendation, but you actually truly get the idea of how fat loss occurs and weight loss occurs. So with that, if there's ever any questions, please shoot us a message, Facebook, Instagram, info@clinicallypressed.com, and then we'll do our best to help answer it and get back to you as soon as we can. With that, if you're looking to supplement to try and help some stuff in relation to this, Flame Off could be a huge benefit to you, help with some of that extra inflammation that you might be carrying around in your body as you're working through and cleaning up your diet. Again, that's through Paragon fitness and nutrition, check out the link in the show notes or at clinicallypressed.com and use checkout code CP15 for 15% off at checkout. Have a great day, everybody.